I got one.
I didn't get number 9 right. Wait, I just switched it up.
Ryan, I
Read it.
wrong. It's okay, I got 2 right.
I've got 3 wrong.
Let's talk about this again. I would not expect you to have a complete and utter control of this, especially if your name is Kabarik, but the rest of you, maybe you could get something here. Let's talk turkey here before we get to absolute value inequality.
Whoa.
And that's where things get dicey, let me tell you.
1 right?
Just one, that's good.
No, wait, so far.
One is better than one.
Out of 4.
How come it take you that long to wait?
I thought we were correcting.
We were correcting, but did you turn that light on? The way I would look at this is if you only got 4 right, that's 4 more right than you would got right on like Friday last week. So look at that, it's positive.
Yeah, sure. One more right than I got.
Let's talk here. Which ones would you like to chat about? Let's just start at something here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is, there's nothing different. It's just equations. So, but you probably should at least have a piece of note paper out so you can work along with us. Mayana. Who? 13. Might as well start with the jugular. Let's go for broke. Let's take this thing to the limit. I think we got like lots of time here. All right, 13.
Whoa.
So here we go. What is that? Where did it come from? All right, so it's an and problem. First thing you think about and is what's that, Mayana? In the end, what does an and problem end up looking like? Yes, they come together. There's 2 circles with a line in between them. Or problems go off in different directions. So you have to solve both of these equations, and they don't look terribly difficult to solve. Did you think they were terribly difficult?
Yes.
All right, so here we go. Mayana, I start with this. What do I do with that to solve? I got to solve it for the letter T. So talk me through this. Talk me off the list. First thing you did is, what?
Add 3t.
But see, I don't know how could you add 3t, because if you add 3t to this, you get 6t. That does not change anything. Now you got 6t here and 8t there. That doesn't do nothing for me. Am I not right? You add 3t and add 3t, this is 6t, that's 5t. Subtract, because you do the opposite. Okay, I'm with that. Subtract 3t, subtract 3t, no. You end up with a negative t, which is okay. All right, what else do I have to do then? Add 15. Add 15, add 15, I end up with, correct? What's my fix on this now? I can't have negative letters. What do I do? Why don't you just change it to positive? Yeah. Change it to positive, change it to positive, change sign. You're allowed to do that. Change positive, change. The whole world's changed. How many people got that far? All right, Mayana, this one's an easy one. All I have to do is, I'm sorry, what's that? Yes, add 13. Do the opposite. What is negative 19 plus 13? Yeah, less than negative 6. Now the question is, when you graph those 2 things, do they come together? Will there be overlap? If they don't overlap and they go in opposite directions, this would be no solution. I don't know what the answer is. Let's look at it. But here we go. I know that t is greater than 2. Here's my 2. Greater than 2. And t is less than negative 6. It's an and problem. It doesn't cross. I hope it's no solution, is it? Or I'm just going to walk away from this. Okay. Did you get this part of it? And say that was the answer? Did you go wrong because you added 3 to everything? I hate to say this, kids, but you do have to think in this a little bit, just a little bit. I can't change that. LMH loading.
11.
I was hoping somebody would ask me on 11, even though I have no idea what it is. Oh, what a piece of cake. Oh, it looks intimidating, does it not? What's that? I am going to, for your viewing pleasure, do this in fluorescent green as well.
For me?
All right, LMA, first thing I'm thinking is,
Distributive.
no,
Or.
thank you.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
or problem, which means what has to happen?
Going separate.
Yeah, they go in separate ways. Now, if they go in the same way, you will still have an answer, because it can be either one of them. It doesn't have to be both combined. Either one of the answers of your graph could be, so it could. I don't think you could ever, well, maybe, I'm not gonna say ever, you probably rarely are gonna get no solution for this one. All right, so LMA says, let us do distributive property. What do I get here, LMA? 42 is less than, what do I get? 18 minus 6K. Can I also go on record as saying, ladies and gentlemen, back in 7th grade, at the beginning of 7th grade, when we did distributive property, very few of you ever got those kind of problems right. Look at the strides you've made. All of you now can kind of do this. All right, now LMA, what do I get over here? Half of 14K is?
8K.
Half of 14K is? Half of 14 is?
7.
Is that what you got?
No.
Half of -8 is -4. So that could have been one of the problems where things went south, but we'll still do this. All right, let's solve this. What do I have to do here, Ella?
Not subtract 18.
I'll subtract 18, I'm on board with that, which gives me a 24 is less than -6K. Okay, then,
Divide
by,
-6.
and the thing is, when you divide by negatives, you
Put the sign.
will say, so this gets flipped this way, this is -6, I get -4 over here. And then, you really want to, you want the letter on the left side, just because that's how we read it. So you can put the K over here and the -4 over there, but the alligator still likes to eat the bigger K. So it flips again. Over here, LA then, add 4. So now 7K is greater than or equal to 14. Then I divide by 7. And divide by 7. So K is greater than or equal to 2. So here we go. Boom. K is greater than -4. Open circle. K is greater than or equal to 2, which would be this. And I assume, if we in fact did this right, do they not go in opposite directions? Was this the answer? Please say yes.
Yes.
They actually don't go in opposite directions, but since it can be either one of them, the answer would mean anything greater than -4 would solve them both. Would be an answer to either of them. Was that what the answer was? People? Which number was it, 11? Oh, boy. Wait, that's not right. It should have been less than. What did I do wrong?
You
Wait,
didn't flip this side.
talk to me, Moose. Where did I go wrong? I'm not infallible here. Which one did I flip?
You have -4.
How what?
You had to flip this side.
I did flip the sign. What?
Look at the last one.
Right here.
And then this side.
Where am I at? Here, stop me when I get to the place where I went wrong. Here?
Yeah.
I divided by negative,
Okay.
why did you stop me there? I flipped it twice. So actually, that would have been there. All right. I'm allowed one mistake. Actually, I'm allowed 2. If I get to 3, we don't have any math. How about that? Ooh, you could stump me. I told you, I got a C in this, so.
Yeah, one.
Huh?
Yeah, one mistake.
Are you counting? Just one. David,
15.
one more. 15. I don't know, do I have 15?
Under the green.
Under the green screen.
Wow, watch this. You don't think that I can fix this? And then this.
What?
And
Was
then
it
this.
high?
Huh?
What was it?
This one here?
That one. Yeah.
Carter did this. All right, first thing you think is what, Carter? You don't see a word there. It is and or. And. This one is where they both come together. This is written out in whatever form. It's really a combo. It's a hybrid of two equations all put together. Whatever you do in this middle has to be done to both sides. So here we go. The first thing I do is, and the x needs to be in the middle, by the way.
Subtract 6.
All right, so I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Subtract 6, subtract 6, subtract 6. So now 4x plus 3 is less than negative 9x plus 0, less than 4x minus 3. Right? Wait, try to get me to get another one wrong here, Jim.
Divide by 9.
Divide by
Negative 9.
negative 9. And if I divide by negative 9, ooh, 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 ooh. No, I don't think that would be my next thing I do.
Add 3. Negative.
Ooh, ooh.
Hey.
Remember what I said. Actually, I'm gonna think about this. You might catch me on this one here, because I'm thinking what we should probably do here. Maybe
4x.
in this case here, because remember you want your x's to be in the middle. Okay? It might be better for you to think about if you actually split this thing into two equations and wrote the and in the middle of it, which would mean this. You write one, 4x plus 3 is less than negative 9x, and then write the other one as negative 9x less than 4x minus 3. Because I am not sure that you'd be able to put all this together and work with the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm laying down? Because you need to get this x, you need to combine the x's, but when you combine that x, it's gonna change that x with that x, and it's all gonna get kind of jumbled together. So it might be in your best interest to split it back into two and put the word and between it. Get back to that. Because then now, what would I do?
Subtract 4x.
I would subtract my 4x, and get negative 13x, which is greater than 3. Did this come out to be a fraction? Yes? Somebody? Wasn't it? Can we look at the answer to this one? Which problem?
15. It's no solution. It's no.
Oh, well, maybe we gotta keep going, because I don't remember the one being, but let's look and see what happens here. So I can still have a fraction, it's just gonna be a no solution. Let's see if we can see why it's no solution here. So here, to solve this, you have to divide by negative 13. Divide by negative 13, I'm switching my sign only once this time. This becomes negative 3/13. This just becomes x, right? Now, I will flip that around, so it's x, flip the sign, negative 3/13. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
This one over here is gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna subtract 4x, and I get negative 13x less than negative 3. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to divide by negative 13, divide by negative 13, flip the sign. So x is going to be greater than positive 3/13. Right? So now what I have is this. Remember, this was an and problem, so these have to come together. X is less than negative 3/13, which means it goes this way at 3/13. X is greater than positive 3/13, which means it goes this way. And where do they overlap? They don't. So that's why this is no solution. This is where you ooh and ah. And also go, I have zero idea what you just did. Zero idea what you just did. Some of you have an inkling of what I just did. Just give me a little Just give me a little
Part B.
thing. Oh, springs, all, you wanna teach us? Are you into that? All right, let's move on. We'll revisit some of this. I just need to overload your brain with some more overstimulation.
Let's go. Wait, we're three?
What?
Three?
For what? All right, I don't, I feel slightly bad for you. On top of this right, ladies and gentlemen, absolute value inequalities.
All this meaning.
And all I can tell you is you just need to take your time and keep what I write down straight in your head. Okay, and I know that's hard to do because most of you just want to like do something without being organized about it. Here is step number one. First of all, how did we solve absolute value equations? Remember solving absolute value equations in the last section? Remember, you isolated, step one was you isolated the absolute value. Step number two, after you isolated it, you wrote two equations from it. One positive, one negative. Same thing is going to happen with absolute value inequalities. We'll follow that same pattern. Okay? Now, here is the small little nuance, Kabare. Okay? If the absolute, this is what you must, this is pivotal, this is key, this is critical. Because with inequalities, because I'm getting two equations, it's going to end up being a compound inequality, which is what we just did in the last little lesson there. Okay? If it is a greater than inequality, it will be the same as, and I have to look at my notes, so this is how tough this is. Greater than absolute value inequality is an OR problem. If you see the greater than sign, let me go down here. If I see the greater than sign in my absolute value inequality, you have to think about this is going to be an OR equation. This is going to be an OR equation. This is going to be an OR equation. If it is a less than sign, it is going to be an AND problem. In other words, AND, remember, AND comes together between the dots, or usually shoots off in two directions. Greater than is OR. Is there a way we can remember that? Less than AND. Great OR, oh look at great OR then. Great OR, get it?
Yeah.
Less, you can't say less OR. It's great OR. Lesson to learn. Lesson. So let's dig apart, starting with the absolute positive. How about that? Absolute positive. Absolute value of x is greater than 4. So I'm going to write that down here. Absolute value of x is, I say greater than 4. All right, let's start with the absolute value. Wait.
There's another mistake.
No.
Yeah.
Mistake number 2. Pressure's on. Okay. So a less than, now because I can't make a mistake, I'm not going to guess, I'm going to go back. Less than is an AND problem. So the first thing I'm going to think, this ends up being an AND problem. Step number 1, it's already solved for the absolute value. I don't have to isolate it, it's already there. So at this point, I need to write two equations. One of them, just like it is, x is less than 4. The other one, now here's one thing you always have to remember, you change it to its negative, but if you change this to its negative, the sign also changes to its opposite. So the second equation is going to be x is greater than -4. Okay? So, what?
So does that mean it's an or problem then?
No,
Bruh.
no. It's gonna be an and problem. Now, notice what you can do at this point here. Okay, first, this is an and problem. I can write this out in one long phrase like I did here. If I put my x in the middle, okay, x has to be bigger than -4. Now notice how the little alligator's eating the x, so he can eat the x there. And x is less than +4. Same thing, these two things can be combined to this. A lot of times math people do this because they don't like to write and problems out like that. But if you actually graph it out, let's look at the graph, let's pick it apart like this. X is less than 4, so here at 4, it's less than, goes that way. X is greater than -4, so here at -4, it goes this way. And they will overlap at that space right here. This is the graph of this right there. And problem. Over there. That one is as easy as humanly possible, let me just say. Let's look at another one.
That's pretty good.
Let's stick with an and problem again. Absolute value,
That's an or.
I'll write it right here. Absolute value of y minus 4 less than or equal to 8. Again, absolute value sign is already isolated, yay. So I write two equations from that, y minus 4 less than or equal to 8, don't change anything on that one. Second one, still y minus 4, change the sign to its opposite, change that to its opposite. Those are your two inequalities. What are you going to do each time to solve? Add 4. So y is less than or equal to 12. Add 4, add 4. Y is greater than or equal to -4. So graphing it, it's going to be, going to go from -4 to 12. Y is greater. They're both colored in because it's equal. You're just waiting for me to make a mistake. I will go slowly then. Shall we do an or?
We shall do both.
Let's do an or problem. How do I know it's or? Because it's a greater than sign. Which of the three ors would you like? Iron or?
Whoa, number 5. Yeah, number 5.
You want to try 5 without me?
Nah. I'm afraid I'm gonna mess up. Oh yeah.
All right, number 5. I see you. I'm going to do this. Number 5. I'm going to create a machine. I am going to paste something right here. Ooh, it seems awful large. All right, so here we go. This is an or problem. Again, it's isolated. I don't have to do any work with it. I just need to start by writing the two equations. Anybody know what that was? Start by writing the two equations. I think I need to count quick here. So I end up with 3c plus 4 greater than 7. Robin's, my other equation is going to be,
3c plus 4 is less than -7.
there you go, just that easy. 3c plus 4 less than -7. Solving them, subtract 4, 3c greater than 3, divide by 3, divide by 3, c greater than 1. Subtract 4, ooh, -11. Nobody likes -11. Sorry, we can do a fraction. Again, divide by 3, C has to be less than negative 11 thirds. And again, this is an or, so this is gonna work out, because what happens when I graph it, C is greater than 1, so here at 1, it shoots off in this direction. Here at negative 11 thirds, it's less than that, so it shoots off in this direction.
Let's go.
I feel like chicken tonight. You have to do one where you have to do a little solving here.
Yeah.
Let's do 8.
Let's go.
2, 4, 6, 8, 2i, 3. Who?
Carby.
I don't know what that is.
Carby.
Carter B.
Carby.
You said Carby.
Carby. You're saving time when you say it. Carby. No, none of this makes sense. You can't use this in your life. Yes, he
Oh,
was
there's
right
a- you can't say that. You don't think.
Samantha,
What?
you need to leave.
Sam, what if
You need to
I can tell you Nancy uses this
I will not
on a
become a
daily
math
basis.
teacher.
You're for sure gonna get a robot to do your taxes.
I will not become an engineer either.
Alright, so again, it's greater than, it's going to be an or problem.
Let's go.
Now this time though, I do need to isolate the absolute value, which means Carter Reichert, I have to do what? I subtract 5. So I end up with the absolute value of 5y minus 2, subtract my 5 over, is greater than negative 5. I subtract 5. Now that it's isolated, I have to do what, Clark? Make 2 equations. Those 2 equations are going to be what, David? And the other one is, I'm sorry, what is that?
5y minus 2 is less than.
Again, it's an or problem, so they should shoot off in different directions, but they might not. They can go in the same direction, but you're still gonna get an answer unless something goofy happens. I gotta make sure because these people are,
Can absolute value not be negative?
Oh.
wait, well, let's see why.
Wait,
Whoa, wait.
wait.
I
Could
am
this be
just
strike number
looking
3?
at this again here. Let's see if we can figure out
Three
why.
strikes you out.
We'll see if that's true in this case. There's a good chance.
Suspicious.
Alright, so what happens here, Reagan? Add 2, what happens? 5y is greater than
Negative.
negative 3. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. So y is greater than negative 3/5. I don't know, I'm gonna have to look here. Add this over here, I get 7, right? 5y is less than 7. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. Y is less than 7/5. If you graph that, what happens? You ask a perplexing question.
That's an and.
What?
And then write an and.
But they can.
Could become and.
But if you switch to negatives, it would go the other way. And it would be an or.
Now, Reagan, I'm gonna have to say, if I think about this, you are incorrect.
Oh, wow.
Simply because of this. Think about this. Think about this, Reagan. Let's go back and look at it at this point right here. Now, the only reason before we said absolute value couldn't equal a negative. This one is just saying the absolute value of something is greater than negative 5. Correct? But Reagan makes a good point because this could never be what? Since absolute value has to always be positive, the positive number will always be greater than the negative 5, but if this sign would have been flipped around, there's no possible way this would ever happen because there's no way that an absolute value of anything could be less than -5 because it has to be a positive number. So I like your thinking, but in this case, your thinking is
You were
slightly
incorrect
off.
on trust.
Well, let's see what happens when we graph this. Y is greater than -3/5. Because there's gotta be something goofy going on here. It goes this way. Y is, actually, it probably means both of them are true. Y is less than 7/5. Now, what I'm gonna say probably happens with this is it's going to be, instead of whatever, it's gonna be all real numbers. Why? Because no matter what you put in for Y, you're always going to, the absolute value of whatever you put in here is always going to be greater than that -5, no matter what. So it's probably going to be all real numbers. Now,
Negative.
if I am wrong, I'm going to go get the answer book and I'm going to have somebody verify that what I just said was true, because it could be way off. I have been wrong before. I was once.
And then we go
I was wrong,
outside.
but I was wrong. So technically,
Well, wrong about being.
You were wrong about
I will tell you this comes from
I was wrong
reteaching.
about trust and rating.
Liam is going to be my answer here.
No, you said you
This
needed.
is
You said you
2.5.
said you needed a pen.
Reteaching.
Right.
I think it's over.
it.
By reteach,
What?
problem number what?
It's how much pen back?
That's equal.
Yeah, you can
Wait, guys,
That's right.
I win.
Oh.
Now, can I tell you, 8th grade, in our other book, we would have never, ever remotely even come close to doing
Yeah.
anything like this. And you are doing it literally in like the 5th week of school. Now, on a more positive note, oh no, this will be much more fun. If you go to IXL,
Yippee!
there are some of these problems on there. I will believe you will have to get a SMART score. I think I put on the thing of 75. I'm going to lower that to a 50.
Yay!
Only because you've been such a bold and brave audience today.
Yay!
50, but I haven't assigned it yet.
That's easy job to do.
You do need to show your work on a piece of paper. Do not come and see any questions without you having work there. Don't erase anything.
Grab me paper. Ryan, grab